US cutoff, because I know that you have less money than ever before, thanks to the Carney government in your pocket. And we just appreciate you choosing us because you are forced to support a lot of media outlets that you would otherwise cross the street to avoid. Right? If you were on the same sidewalk, you'd be like, nope, I'm going over there. I don't want to be anywhere near Madam Rosie Barton or David Cochran or Glenn McGregor. You know, the list goes on and on. If you're watching us on YouTube, where we remain surprisingly remonetized, same rules apply. $5 US cutoff for a super chat, it's called over there, and we're reading it on air. If it's under that, we'll do our best to get to it. And if you are not able to catch the live version of the show, if you want to leave a paid comment, it's called a super thanks. And I realize the framing in my studio is just out of control. This irritates me when the lines of the planks are crooked. But I feel like when I was away at the ostrich farm, perhaps the animals who share this office with me, Trigger, I'm looking at you, might have messed with my camera. So if I feel like I'm looking down, up, I don't know where to look anymore because my camera's not where it's supposed to be. I feel like somebody's leg dragged it away. So this is what we're dealing with. I should have fixed it. But our Tuesday has a case of the Mondays. Let's get into the Trump peace deal. Trump. We just made a big deal today, so we smile. Biggest ever. Trump, again, being the worst Nazi ever.
Yes.
I feel like the left won't shut up about what a Nazi he is. And he just seems to be the worst kind of Nazi because he keeps making life more peaceful for the Jews. Last time around, he was able to help strike the Abraham Accords. They named a neighborhood in the Golan after him, Trump Heights. Again, worst Nazi ever. And then the worst Nazi ever, who continues to Nazi just wrong, makes a big peace deal to bring home Israeli hostages, bring the living hostages, because it sounds like they still haven't returned the bodies of the dead hostages. And I think the hostages were all male, which means they killed the women.
Well, that reflects what the women would say happened to them during that time.
Right.
A victim of sexual assault or rape can't report that crime if they are no longer here.
Also, I got another, I have another point on that, and it goes to the reason they attacked the women and the children in Judaism. Judaism is a matrilineal religion. And so to destroy the Jews, you have to destroy the women because that's how your Jewish lineage is passed to you. And
destroy the mothers.
Destroy the mothers and the children. The children are just beloved and cherished as, you know, the future of the Jewish people. But being a matrilineal religion, you destroy the mothers, you destroy the women, you destroy the Jews. So anyways, on that dark note, hostages are home. And if you need to feel uplifted or to have a good cry, go on X and watch videos of people being reunited with their families. But this is Trump. Shame he didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize for this, but we know that that's just a political prize. Let's watch his.
Biggest effort, right?
عقب جنبها وتمدها ما تسألنيش.
And the press has treated us very well. Everybody likes us. The press is actually. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Just made a big deal today.
So we didn't have his, he said some things. Maybe we can find it. I noticed Chris Sims flipped me something over the weekend where it's like, what the heck are Carney and Starmer even doing there? Carney had to, I guess, charter a flight to Egypt for this.
Canadian Air Force didn't even have one, not even one that they could take. How embarrassing. But
I think Canada, it was he wasn't initially included, is what I think. So he was scrambling to get there.
Well, sure.
For the photo op.
To feel important, to feel like he did something to contribute to this. Whereas it's been reported that what Canada did, Canada's contribution to these peace talks were was actually counterintuitive, along with England and France, by declaring Palestine a state. Didn't help these peace talks along at all, and I think that it is actually being reflected in the behavior of Gazans right now and what they're doing in the streets in response. Um, Trump, and it needs to be said, leading up to the American election, all we heard was if Trump wins, it's going to be World War III. It's going to be World War III, and this was reflected through Chrystia Freeland, who said, this is an existential threat. We must, we must explore nuclear options,
Right.
with our dispute with the United States, and now they want to take. Now the government of Canada wants to take credit for this peace deal. It is insane.
This is what I noticed from over the weekend. I just put a screenshot into the chat there, and I think it was from the White House YouTube page. Or no, this is the White House X. It was White House X, and you can see this is why Carney had to charter a flight. So we've got the more reasonable types, and then we've got Starmer right there, and to the, I guess it would be the left of Starmer, like my right, Starmer's left, is Mark Carney, because he wanted to be part of the photo op.
He wanted to look. He wanted to look like he had something to do with it,
despite being an underminer of the thing, declaring, "Oh, we would recognize a Palestinian state." What, without releasing the hostages, without democracy in Gaza, maybe not even democracy. I mean, the Emirates are very peaceful without being a democracy, but at least without a change in the leadership in Gaza, no, that was not contingent on anything. It was just, we're going to recognize the barbarians of Gaza and reward them for the single largest terror attack on Jews since the Holocaust, the Israeli 9/11.
Yeah, that's what happened.
That is exactly what happened.
That's what happened. And there's another clip to go along with this screen cap that we had, where Trump just absolutely roasts Keir Starmer, like sort of makes it seem like he's inviting Keir Starmer up to the microphone and then just dismisses him back into the background again. Keir Starmer got absolutely served.
I wonder if I can find that.
And there is there's a moment with Mark Carney with a hot mic, and I love Trump moments with the hot mic, where there's a microphone just in the area and they catch these little off the cuff conversations. Trump had a moment where he humiliated Mark Carney pretty great.
Oh, we found there's two here, and we'll go to the Carney getting made fun of, because I think Trump was pretty clear about who he was dragging also, because he made this like passive aggressive remark that is actually more aggressive than passive. It's just kind of funny. But we did find Trump pretty much forgot that Keir Starmer was there, and then he thought he was going to speak, and then no, you get out of here. So let's watch this.
Where's the United Kingdom? Where's Russia? Come here.
Where's
Come here.
Kingdom?
Going good?
Very good.
Everything going good.
These people all came in like 20-minute notice, and I think it's fantastic. And we have so many others, and just so many others. And
look at Georgia Maloney's little cheeky eyes. She's like,
oh no, that was just so embarrassing. How embarrassing is that?
He's like, where is he? Everything going good? Good. And then he just like stands in front of him. Yeah, because you did everything you could to undermine the peace deal.
Yeah. How's everything going? And then just fat backs him. Just absolutely sends him back to the lineup. How embarrassing.
We got one more on this. Because yes, we should be happy, but I do want to take a victory lap around the people that, as you rightly pointed out, said Trump's going to get elected. It's going to be World War III, and peace is breaking out in the Middle East again. We've got this from Trump. I've known so many of you for so long. You're friends of mine. You're great people. There's a couple I don't like in particular. What couple are those? Starmer Carney.
Starmer, Carney, Emmanuel Macron, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
Yeah, those three. Those three.
Let's watch this. It's funny.
Many of the people in this room, and it all just started coming together. I've known so many of you for so long. You're friends of mine. You're great people. I have a couple I don't like in particular, but I won't tell you who. I have actually a few of them I don't like at all, but you'll never find out who they are. Well, maybe you will, come to think of it. But New York, I met with...
You know, the ones he doesn't like don't have trade deals yet.
Right.
Canada.
There's that.
That's like there are hints. You know what I mean? He might not come out and say it, but there are hints.
Oh, he
It
doesn't
is-
have to tell us. We know. We just saw what he did to Starmer, rightfully so. Let's keep going. Carney posted this on X. As if, you know, the gall of this man. The first phase of today's historic peace plan has been signed, opening a new chapter for Israelis, Palestinians, and the world. Canada commends the leadership of President Trump and leaders of Qatar, Egypt, and Turkey for enabling this step toward a just and lasting peace. And then Honest Reporting Canada is just dragging him in the comment section. While POTUS was working hard on a deal to secure the hostages after 2 years, you, Keir Starmer, and Emmanuel Macron were busy virtue signaling by preemptively recognizing a Palestinian state, which actively hurt the negotiations you're now applauding. Let's go down and see what Vivian Bersovici, former diplomat under Stephen Harper, she was actually the Canadian ambassador to Israel under Stephen Harper. She has things to say. She's always just constantly dragging Carney on this stuff. She says, "You are so unprincipled, whichever way the wind blows, you bend," and it's Turkey in English. Yeah, you can always tell where people are in that sort of stuff, like when they overly enunciate Arabic words. I'm like, oh, I see. Yes.
Good virtue signal. Yeah.
Yeah. Good job, guys. Anyways, just an opportunist. We have to, I mean, it's weird how Trump can actually get a peace deal done in the Middle East, but he can't get something done with Canada. What does that tell you about the quality of the negotiating table that the Canadians are putting forward?
Well, what does it say when Canada can't negotiate with anybody other than the EU? Mark Carney has one playbook. It is sort of the big one world government situation. And Mark Carney lost the United Kingdom in the Brexit vote when the people of Britain said no thank you to the European Union. What has Mark Carney done ever since is he's trying to add a country back, this is Canada, back into the European Union.
Right.
He lost the UK and now he's adding Canada.
Oh, that's such a good point.
It is like nobody asked for this. No Canadian said, hey, you know what would be really great for us in the economy and our culture is to join the European Union. Yeah. Nobody asked for this. And yet Mark Carney's economic and financial interests are so tied to the European Union and the euro that he would add us into that situation. So anyway, it's just disappointing all the way around.
Yes.
And really telling that we're not making agreements with the United States yet. We don't have a trade deal. We're still, our canola growers are still suffering. Our steel industry is still suffering. People are losing their jobs. And yet here's Mark Carney on a stage taking fancy selfies with his fancy friends.
Yes.
That make you feel better, people that just lost your jobs in Canada?
Exactly. That he chartered a flight so that he could be there for the photo op of the peace deal he actively worked to undermine. Can you imagine? Like, he's just going to be the bride at every funeral or the bride at every wedding and the corpse at every funeral. Like, he just has to.
That's a great saying. Yeah, Mark Carney called Uber Air to get all the way over to the Middle East just so he could stand in a line with his fancy friends.
Right.
Hope it was worth the investment, Canada. I wonder how much that cost you, the taxpayer.
Now, Stephen Harper, who has long been a friend to the Jewish state. Actually, he was the first Canadian prime minister to ever speak at the Knesset, which is the Israeli parliament. He says, congratulations to Donald Trump, Netanyahu, Mohammed bin Zayed, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and other regional leaders. Tomorrow's a new day thanks to your unwavering leadership. May this bring a new era of peace, prosperity, and long-term stability for all the Middle East. Again, anyone who said Trump was some kind of warmonger, it just isn't living in reality.
Yeah.
Completely not.
Agreed.
And if anybody's going to get a deal done between the Russians and the Ukrainians, probably Trump.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Daniel Smith, of course, weighing in. She says news of Israeli hostages being united with their families in a ceasefire in Gaza give hope for a peaceful path forward. May this be a step forward toward healing, compassion, and a durable peace for all families touched by this tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And that hasn't stopped the crazy people in Canada from just going insane. You know, if it were about peace for the Gazans, then they wouldn't be continuously vandalizing parks next door to Jewish schools, which is what
Right.
happened in Toronto over the weekend. I think it's on Honest Reporting Canada if you guys want to dig it up. But there's a park in Toronto right next door to a Jewish elementary school that they have just vandalized with pro-Hamas propaganda and like. So it's not about peace because that's on the eve of peace that they're doing this at a Jewish elementary school, which means
Well,
it's not about Israel. It's still about the Jews.
well, that's exactly the thing. And what did Olivia Chow, the mayor of Toronto, spend her entire weekend doing? Virtue signaling. So they're not paying they're not paying attention to this. I'll tell you that right now. They're busy dressing up in costumes and having little Zumba dance-offs while
Ugh.
this is happening in Toronto.
Yeah,
Have the hate marches stopped? Like, have they completely stopped in Canada? Because they should, right?
right, right. It
And yet,
won't. It won't because it's not about
yeah,
peace. It's not even about the Gazans. Like they're always
no,
like, oh, the poor suffering Gazans. You guys don't give a damn about them because if you did, you would be anti-Hamas. Right?
right,
Like you would be anti-indoctrinating their children in UN schools to hate Jews, but you're not about that.
no.
You are anti-Jew. And like at least maybe now people can see that there's a peace deal and they're still doing this stuff.
Hmm.
It's not even about the state of Israel. It's about the Jews.
Hmm. Yeah,
Uh,
no, just deplorable.
Yeah, Polyev says 2 years after Hamas's sadistic attack on innocent Israelis, the families of 20 hostages are finally able to hug their loved ones. This peace provides an opportunity for the Hamas-launched bloodshed to finally end, which has been a tragic reality for too long. 28 other hostages were murdered, and for those who knew them, still a moment of immense grief. We hope their bodies will be quickly recovered, so they didn't obviously give all the hostages back. And their families, friends, and loved ones might be able to find closure with their return. The October 7th attacks were the darkest day for all the Jewish people since the Holocaust. Through it all, Jews and Israelis around the world have shown incredible resilience with hope that the safe return of the hostages could bring the war to an end. We thank President Trump for his leadership, negotiating a peaceful closure to this war, and hope that it serves to bring lasting generational peace. Never forget and never again. That is the statement our prime minister should have
Yes.
made.
Yes. And this is the statement the government of Canada would have made had the election not turned out the way it did in this last federal election. That's a perfectly encapsulated message and right on point. Good for Polyev.
Yeah, yeah. And not in there just taking credit. Like Carney, like a
Right.
vulture. What a scavenger that man is.
Mm.
Now, I mentioned this off the top of the show that while we're making fun of Carney, bad things are still underway inside of Gaza. So, as much as this is a victory that the hostages are returned home, Hamas is still in control of Gaza, doing Hamas things. And that includes public executions just hours after signing the peace treaty with Israel. I'm not sure if we can show this. We probably don't want to show it.
I don't think so.
I don't
Yeah.
think we should. You can find it on, and people are filming it with their phones and stuff. It's just awful. They don't actually, maybe we can show a still from that, but I don't think we should show the video. There's the still.
Yeah, this level of depravity and this level of public violence is I mean, there is absolutely no defending this kind of behavior, and yet this is the response to the peace deal that Trump brokered. And
Yeah.
reportedly, the people on their knees in this image were accused of working with Americans or working on behalf of Trump or working on the ground in Gaza somehow with the Americans, and then this is what happens to them. This is absolutely unforgivable and deplorable, and we should not normalize this.
Right.
This is the furthest thing from a civilized society that you could ever possibly see. And this is who, like, the crazy thing is this is the people standing in this image holding the pew-pews are the ones that we just gave statehood to.
Right. These are the guys that Carney legitimized. These are the
Yes.
guys that Carney legitimized
Yeah.
after they did this exact same thing to Israelis. So these are people who are accused of being collaborators
Yeah.
and recruiting to non-Hamas aligned militias. Now, that might not even be pro-American or pro-Israeli militias, but just a counter militia to Hamas. So they weren't sufficiently loyal to Hamas for
Right.
whatever reason, and they were publicly executed. And these are the people. They say in the New York Post, they say on Sunday, 52 members of the powerful Dagmush clan were killed in clashes with Hamas's internal security forces, while 12 Hamas terrorists, including the son of senior official Bassem Naim, also died, according to reports in Gaza. Take that for what you will, because you get a lot of this from the Gaza propaganda service. Hamas militants reportedly used ambulances to storm the neighborhood of the clan, whom they accused of collaboration with Israel. It's described as a massacre. So one thing you'll note in there is that they are, when people say, oh, the Israelis are targeting doctors and civilians and ambulances, this is who's driving the ambulances. This is this. Hamas is driving the ambulances so that as cover to their local massacre.
Sure. And it is tribal warfare, like the finest example of tribal warfare that you'll ever see in a modern context, where you have factions fighting each other on the ground and retaliating against their enemies in an ultra violent way, while masquerading as helpers, coming in on ambulances, in aid vans, in with food drops or what have you. This is who we just granted statehood to.
Right.
Canada, UK, and France.
Yeah, and it looks like Hamas is moving to, as they say in this article, quickly assert its control over the Gaza Strip again after the IDF withdrawal. But at the end of the day, Israel got its hostages back, and they would do anything to get their people back.
Yeah.
Which is the difference between these people on the other side who absolutely have no value on human life.
Yes. Yeah, respect for human life is just, listen, if this can happen in your streets, and again, there is nothing normal or civilized about this. This should be rejected outright as an obvious human rights abuse. Like, look at just like, where's the UN? Where's the UN in all of this?
Right. Nowhere. I mean, they're running the Hamas indoctrination camps they call schools around there. So. We've got this one video before we hit an ad break. And before we go on the ad break, I want to tell everybody, Lisa and I are doing what we love to do, and that is cover random elections in this country, be it a by-election, a municipal election, a far-flung provincial election that we are currently taking a crash course in the politics of. We are covering the Newfoundland general election tonight. And we are... I know a little bit about Newfoundland just because I'm from northeastern Alberta, right? Like, you can't escape Newfoundland when you're out here. What was the old joke used to be? The largest city in Newfoundland was Fort McMurray, right?
Yes. Newfies and Westerners are like very, very culturally aligned. Like, we're each other's. You're our favorite cousins, Newfoundland, and so we can't wait to get into your election tonight.
And I know someone's going to send me an email. Don't call us Newfies. Look, call me a redneck. I don't care. But we've got an entire Newfoundlander maritime food section at our local grocery store, at the local No Frills. You can get your
Really?
weird crush, like birch bark, whatever it is, birch beer. I don't know what it is. The pineapple crush and the weird salted fish. We have and the bologna log that you guys like. We've got that because we love you, our Newfoundland cousins.
Yes.
And so we are going to cover your general election tonight. We've already lined up our real estate listings where we can
Oh,
compare real estate here, real estate there. Do you want to move there? Do you not want to move there based on the outcome of the election? Something for you guys to think about. We're doing that tonight. What time is that at, Efron? Maybe you can whisper it in my ear, Olivia. 8 p.m.
Eastern.
6 p.m. Mountain and Sask time, which
Okay.
means 9 p.m. Newfoundland. 9:30?
We're gonna be late. We're gonna be on late in Newfoundland, and we're so happy to
Right.
do it. Like truly, election coverage is
I love it.
probably my favorite thing that we do here, Sheila, because it most closely resembles just the conversations that we would have anyhow,
Right.
peppered
We're
with
learning as we go.
peppered with fun facts about the area as we learn them. And our audience really seems to like an evening broadcast with election
They
coverage. So
love
we're
it.
happy. Like, we're delighted to be on twice in one day in Newfoundland. We can't wait to see you tonight. Like, make sure to notify all your Newfie friends. Because
Right.
like we just need to we're cousins. We need to hang
Right.
out. It's gonna be a big old Canadian family reunion tonight on the Rebel live stream. So
Do you know how many I see just as many F Trudeau stickers on vehicles as I do Newfoundland flags on vehicles in my part of the world? Because you guys all move out here for oil and gas jobs, and I realize that
Yep.
oil and gas jobs are on the table in your election. Also, there's something interesting about your Liberals, and maybe I'll save this for later, or I'll just repeat myself later. You can come back and hear me tell the same story twice. It's like getting in the car with Ezra Levant. Your Liberals are a little bit further away from the central hive mind. And so in other provinces, I think they might be progressive conservatives. And your conservatives are like conservatives, and your Liberals might be a little bit more moderated by the local politics and the local atmosphere, because I know they're like staunchly against the carbon tax, and they were one of the reasons the Liberals had to drop the carbon tax, because of an internal revolt, because they were going to lose the East. But all that is to say, you keep voting for Liberals, and the rest of us get a Liberal government, so that doesn't help us. I am just explaining. I'm not justifying. I don't like it. Stop doing it. But I'm explaining how things are a little bit different. What is this? Oh, we've got some fun stuff before we hit an ad break. Oh, let's go to this before we hit an ad break. Now that you guys come back, 6 Mountain, 8 Eastern, and then whatever that is in Newfoundland and the Rock. I don't know what that is. What is that in Labrador? I think it's a 2.5 hours ahead.
They're the half an hour off?
They're the half an
Yeah.
hour off, I think. So we have to, Efron, let's be aware of that. There's like a half an hour-ish.
A weird time zone?
It's a weird time zone out there.
Weird time zone. And we struggle with time zones. We're neat.
Already. Half
Yeah.
the time we're like, are we on the same time zone right now or not? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And so we'll be, but 6 p.m. Saskatchewan and Alberta time.
And
tonight,
whatever it is from there.
Yeah.
Whatever
we'll
it is
just
from
be
there.
here.
I'm not going to let time divide us. We've got one more thing from on the hostages. It is a hostage, a recently released hostage saying Hamas did not want Donald Trump to get elected. So let's watch that. Do we have it? Sorry, Efron, I put you on the spot.
It's all right.
I might go to the grocery store after work real fast and just take a quick piece of B-roll of the Newfoundlander food section that we have in our local Fort Saskatchewan grocery store to help you folks feel like you're at home. But anyways, this is the hostage, recently released hostage saying Hamas is scared of Trump, and they should be.
Yes, it seemed he got me out. He got the hostages out. Before we felt like nothing is happening, you know. And I remember there for me there ever since he came into the role. They were very scared of him. Yeah, they wanted
Who
terrorists.
were afraid of Trump?
Yeah, they wanted Kamala to be chosen, to be elected.
You talked politics with them?
Yeah. They wanted Kamala to be elected. But as soon as Donald Trump was elected, they understood that he wants to bring the hostages back home. Yeah. So immediately the way they treated me changed. So if it's the amount of food, I could say this, that when Trump became president, yeah, the way they treated us changed. For me personally, this is what I
I think
felt.
because they anticipated that a deal would come soon.
Yeah.
And that's when they started giving you more food.
Exactly. More food, treated me better, stopped cursing me, stopped spitting on me.
Things got better?
You want to know how far and how fast and how strong his influence is? Terrorists start behaving better in person when they know he's coming, when they know he'll be watching. That's an incredible observation that hostage was able to make. Just the thought of Trump being involved meant that he got treated better, that they were on their best behavior.
Yep.
Interesting.
And while he was talking, I investigated the time zones in Newfoundland and Labrador. Labrador, 2.5 hours ahead. Mainland Newfoundland, 3 hours ahead.
Okay.
So it will be 9 o'clock in mainland Newfoundland and 8:30 on the
in
rock.
Labrador. Yes. Okay. Deal.
All right. And I've learned some facts about Labrador. You've got a real moose problem there, from what I understand. If Efron sends us this in case we want to continue dunking on Carney before we go to the break. It's from Ryan Garrettson. And yeah, of course we do.
Of course we do.
It gives me life. It helps me fight on another day. Looks like Carney is recycling footage from a trip in August to make it look like he stopped by to visit service members this Thanksgiving. Nothing is real with this guy.
Oh,
yeah.
Look at this.
So this same dude there and right there.
Huh.
Wow.
Pretending like he's supporting troops.
Yeah. But it was like, yeah. So Ryan found his first post from August 27th with the same poor man in a beard. And then, oh yeah, the girl with the ponytail is right there too. She's got the same hair tie, same pony, same highlights. Waiting on Mark Carney to sit down. So if you shuffle back and forth between those two, guy in the beard, girl in the pony, exact same highlights.
Claiming that he was just all smoke and mirrors from the government of Canada.
Nothing's real. It's all just theater, just complete theater.
Fake.
Oh, I'll tell you. Was it from Rebel Studio? Okay, so was it her son? I don't think it was her son. I think maybe her daughter? Maybe it is her son. No, Tracy Wilson from the CCFR. I'm going to say it's her daughter. And Tracy, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Tracy Wilson's daughter. Oh, that's a fine looking Wilson boy. Okay. So Tracy is from a military family. The reason I thought it was her daughter is because her daughter is a little older than my oldest daughter and she's in the military. And Tracy's from a military family. Her dad's in the military. I think her significant other is a veteran, if I recall correctly. But Tracy points out that that's a Wilson boy in their photo. And so that's how she knew it was a recycler.
Huh. She could just call her son. Hey, yo, when did this happen? Did this happen again, or is this a recycled image?
Did you see Carney then again? And apparently it's it was a Wilson, a young feller in the Wilson family. I don't know if it's her son or just maybe a nephew or whatever, but I know that that's a proud military family there. And they're being used as a photo prop for Mark Carney, as is everything. All right. Let's hit an ad break and then we'll come back to Ostrich Burning Man, as I've been calling it. I just got back from there on Saturday night, and we've got some news on why we're not there. So let's hit an ad break. We'll come right back.
By connecting businesses with qualified candidates, Workforce Alberta helps employers change their story.
Gun bans make great distractions.
Trudeau may be gone, but Carney has picked up his same rhetoric.
We will quickly, and I mean quickly, reinvigorate the buyback of
Hunters, collectors, competitors, and defenders of tradition are still being targeted, while criminals run wild under Liberal policy. But we are fighting back. Join us, Canada's National Firearms Association, in defense of freedom.
Hey, Toronto Rebel News fans, listen up. Rebel News is celebrating 10 years of fearless journalism with our 10th birthday bash, and you're invited to join us. Last week, hundreds of Rebel fans packed our Calgary party for an unforgettable night of music, food, and fun. Now it's Toronto's turn. Join us on Thursday, October 16th at 6 p.m. near Black Creek and Lawrence for a night you will not forget. Expect a lively evening with Rebel News journalists and crew, past and present, cocktails, hors d'oeuvres, and of course, a birthday cake.
Happy birthday, Rebel. Happy birthday. Happy 10 years, Rebel. There you go. That's what we're talking about there.
A fun photo booth with keepsakes and a full-on celebration of free speech, independent media, and the community that made it all possible.
Keep doing what you're doing. You guys are doing fantastic.
Keep at it. You guys have made change as far as I can see. Happy birthday, Rebel News. Let's keep going.
Keep up the good work and keep fighting for freedom. Just keep on doing what you're doing.
We'll also be holding a silent auction, including private lunches with yours truly, Ezra and Alexa. This isn't just a party, it's a celebration of what we built together. 10 years of telling the other side of the story and standing up for freedom. Tickets are going fast. Grab yours now at happybirthdayrebel.com before early bird pricing ends at midnight on Friday, October the 3rd. And if you want the ultimate Rebel experience, get a VIP ticket. That includes dinner with Rebel journalists before the party. Space is limited, so secure your spot right now. Hello! We'll see you there, Toronto.
Okay, we'll give you a quick update from the ostrich farm, and then I'm going to try to hit some of Ezra's Tommy Robinson stuff. And then I don't have a daily cringe today, but I have a daily I laughed for 5 minutes straight watching this video.
The daily delight.
It's the daily delight. It's just, you know, I'm not a fan of using George Strait for political purposes because he's the king of country music, you know.
Yes.
But I gotta tell you, The American administration is just so fun under President Trump that I am responsible for like 500 watches of this very tiny clip from the US Border Patrol. Efron, I think I put it early when we were planning the show in that, please, let's just show that for the Daily Delight, because I'm sorry, I just enjoyed it so much, and I feel like many of you at home will enjoy it too. All right, let's get into the quick ostrich update. And it's, I'll just give one because Drea will be putting out stories as we go about what's actually happening there. But the reason we are able to come home and we were able to spend Thanksgiving with our families. And I had a exciting trip through, like as the snow first hit the mountains. We were sort of like, oh my goodness, is it going to snow in Rogers Pass? I'm like, oh, it's snowing this afternoon in Rogers Pass. We have to leave super early from Revelstoke to get home because I'm like, I've never hauled that trailer in the winter. So it was just, anyways. And then I came home and we had a little skiff to snow. But Ostrich Farm, good news. This is why Drea and I are able to be home and we're not babysitting ostriches. Or rather the CFIA, because ostriches don't need to be babysat. They have farmers for that. But we're babysitting the CFIA. The birds are likely to live through the week. Below are the application for leave to appeal cases expected to receive judgments this week in the Supreme Court. Universal Ostrich Farms, Inc. versus the Canadian Food Inspection Agency is not among them. She confirmed with the courts that while subject to change, so this could change last minute, officially, they're not going to make any decision about whether or not the farm will be granted leave, which will mean the birds can live on until the Supreme Court hears the case, or no leave and then for the birds, ratites, as I've learned they are. So typically a list like this is released the week prior to when a decision will be rendered. So, so far, so good. The birds will be okay this week, it sounds like, unless they sort of sneak something in under the wire. But I don't know. It seems like okay. But we're watching carefully. And as you know, Drea is just like all over this, like white on rice. So.
Right. So we're just in a continued holding pattern on the ostriches. Nothing. Yeah. Nothing
we're
is.
Circling the
nothing
airport.
is. Yeah. Nothing is changing right now. Everything is just sort of staying status quo. And no emergency news coming out of actually that's not true because Drea, every time I look, Drea's telling us another piece of emergency news coming out of the ostrich farm. And even when nothing is happening, things are happening at the ostrich farm.
Right.
And do we have a quick update on what's happening right now on the ground at the ostrich farm?
So we've got something that happened over the weekend. So there are a good amount of people who are still at the ostrich farm, including Chris Stacy. We left
he's
the
such
farm.
a peach. Yeah.
We left the farm in good hands. Like I said, that guy, if he'd moved to Alberta, he would just blend right into the scenery. He'd be perfectly fine. And he wouldn't have to worry about Antifa or Hamas radicals beating him up. He would be living the dream here. And I don't understand how, I looked at him, I'm like, yeah, it's no wonder you stick out like a sore thumb in Ottawa. You're the most Albertan guy in Ottawa who's not from here. What are you doing? Anyway, let's skip ahead to Drea, showing the CFIA's incompetence. And in fact, I saw it firsthand. Just their inability to even manage the animals, just even to get them from pen to pen. I'm like, you are not good at this. This is from over the weekend. The farm released new footage exposing more CFIA incompetence. Consistent with statements farmer Dave Belinsky previously told Rebel News, the video shows him warning the CFIA that Spirit, an injured hen who later died in the agency's care, needed urgent help. It also shows the CFIA staff guessed the bird's temperature, assumed she was drinking without seeing her do so, and are running a multi-million-dollar seizure of hundreds of avian flu recovered ostriches without a qualified vet on scene. Even worse, they're taunting the bird with water. She's likely too weak to drink in front of a manure pile that she's on. Like, this is just horrific.
You don't have to be an animal care expert or an ostrich expert
to know the same good.
To see that bird is not doing well
she's
and
struggling. She's sick.
Emergent care. Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
Like, I'm by no means an animal rights activist. I'm a farmers' rights activist, and I also realize that well cared for animals they taste better. And
Well,
but this bird is somebody else's property, and they have taken custody of somebody else's property, and now they are diminishing the value of that property. This is like having crackheads for tenants right now with the damage they are doing to the property of the Pasitnys and the Balinskis. This is outrage. This is an animal suffering. And
well, this is animal abuse is what it
right.
is. And where they admit that they're, what is the ostrich's temperature? Well, it's 38 degrees. Well, how do you know? It's just me. Because that's how you take vital signs of a
Right.
living creature, is you
Right.
just
This is
guess.
like they're
You
just all
guess.
standing around while this animal is quite literally suffering to death. They refuse. The worst part is the farmers are like, if you're not going to care for her, let us do it. And they're like, no, you can't. Why? Because it's about power and control and not about the animals, not about health. If you care about the health of animals, which is what they say this is all about, this is about public health. There's an animal suffering and you guys aren't caring for it.
Just standing there in your silly white suits.
Yeah. How are they? Look at, I mean, how frustrating and heartbreaking is this for Dave?
Yeah.
Who's standing there?
Just pleading with them, like, listen, I get that you guys aren't doing it, don't know how,
Right.
and aren't capable. Let me do it. And they're like, no.
No, she's going to
No,
suffer.
farmer man.
We're
Back
going to
off, farmer
stand
man.
here and watch this animal suffer to death. And like, I'm a farmer. Animals die. That's what they do. Nobody gets out of here alive, right? Ostriches, people, nobody gets out of here alive. And I hunt. But this is absolute unnecessary animal suffering, and you have to be a monster to watch this and be okay with it.
Yeah, truly. Well, that's your Canadian tax dollars at work, Canada, with your Canadian Food Inspection Agency.
Yeah.
Look what they would do.
Horrible. Let's just skip ahead to something that Lisa added into the topics. And this is Transhausen by proxy mommies threatening me with a good time. But at the same time, I'm sad because at the end of the day, they're still going to do horrible, irreversible damage to their children. I'm happy that I don't have to pay for it. I'm happy that this won't happen to children inside of Alberta, but the Transhausen by proxy mommies are going to uproot their children and take them to provinces that don't value children as much as we do.
Yes, and this is problematic. So these are mothers of trans children in Alberta who are threatening to move out of Alberta because their children cannot access puberty blockers or wrong sex hormones or surgically mutilate themselves. And this is the problem where other jurisdictions, aka Saskatchewan and British Columbia, are going to absorb a great many of these families who are dedicated to destroying their own children. Okay, this is tantamount to child abuse. It should be recognized as such. But I can tell you that the people of Saskatchewan do not want to absorb a whole demographic of children who are demanding their own medical mutilation. We don't want to have to pay for their health care. We don't want to have to pay for their social services. And we don't want to have to pay for their continued education down the gender craziness pipeline that is alive and well in Saskatchewan schools. If you were from Alberta, Sheila Gunn-Reid, and all of a sudden, all of these treatments were made redundant because of Danielle Smith's smart move. Would you go to BC, who has an oppressive housing situation where you can't get housing,
right?
Where there's a cost of living, an absolute crazy cost
and
of
lower
living crisis?
and lower cost of housing, lower cost of living, and lower surgical wait times in Saskatchewan.
Or would you come to Saskatchewan?
Yeah.
Saskatchewan Health needs to get a handle on this so that
they need to get ahead of this.
so that our already stressed healthcare system and education system isn't absorbing all of these super, super complicated, high needs, expensive, like ridiculously expensive families from Alberta. We don't want to be the sanctuary state where
Right.
these people are moving to. Like, absolutely not. We know that this is destroying children. We know that this is a fallacy and a lie, that there is no such thing as a trans kid, no matter what they say. Oh, well, when children tell you who they are, believe them. Well, if your child wanted to cut off their own foot, would you believe them? Would you affirm that they should be footless pirates? Of course not. This is craziness, and it's being imported into other provinces now. Do something, you guys.
Right.
Do something.
Oh, by the way, it's the usual suspects challenging the law in Alberta with your money, everybody at home. EGAL and Skipping Stone. EGAL is a busybody,
Federally funded
up the wazoo.
Legal NGO.
yeah.
They're paid by the federal government to challenge provincial governments on this issue.
Right.
It is the craziest misuse of taxpayer funds that you could ever fathom.
Yeah, and it's how the federal government gets around jurisdiction on these issues, because this is a provincial jurisdiction. So how do they impede provincial jurisdiction, meddle in our lives? They fund activists to do it on their behalf, and then they say, well, we left them alone. Well, yeah, but you paid a gal to do it.
That's right, EGAL and You Are Pride in Saskatchewan against parental rights laws.
Can we just stop and talk for a minute about the family in this? Because they can, and I don't want to get too much into this, but or I guess how this is framed. Because these people say, oh, we have to deconstruct the gender binary. But then they tell you that if your girl doesn't like girl things and if she likes boy things, then she must be a boy. Well, then have I got news for you about my 19-year-old who is, in my mother's opinion, in my mother's eyes, absolutely stunning, feminine, cute as all get out, but strong as heck, loves boy things, shoots, fixes cars in the garage. Like if there's something wrong with her car, she just goes in the garage and fixes it. Last night, her and her boyfriend were working on cars in the driveway.
Isn't that delish?
And she is in a contact sport. She's on a scholarship at university in a contact sport. But if these ghouls got their hands on her, and if I wasn't the kind of mother that I am, without the religious framework in which we exist, they might have transed her on me instead of just saying she is just a darling little tomboy who is about as well-rounded as all get out. But in here they say, football decals plaster the walls of his bedroom.
Yes.
I just realized they're talking about a little girl here.
Yes.
A San Francisco 49ers bedspread and a binder full of trading cards makes it clear the 7-year-old loves sports.
7 years old.
7 years old.
This child hasn't lost all of its baby teeth yet, and yet we are affirming this delusion. Yet we are walking this child down this path. This is a child that has been lied to the point of delusion, absolute delusion.
My girls love contact sports. Well, the younger one doesn't. She doesn't like conflict. But when they were little, dirt bikes nonstop.
Sure.
Shooting nonstop. I couldn't keep them clean. They were covered in mud and their favorite colors were camouflage. And the older one has continued with her love of these things. She's an independent, self-sufficient, sport-loving girl who is a girl. And she's got a lovely little boyfriend. Cute as all get out. And these people would have transferred in a heartbeat because she didn't fall on their gender binary, which they say also is bad. So pick a lane, weirdos.
Yep. And so in the article, the mother goes on to say, if my child can't get access to gender affirming care, well, then something terrible might happen. And there was this post on Twitter that really licks it. And it's by Psych Girl 211. I should have put it in the chat, but just let me read it to you. At a certain age, all human children undergo the same physical and neurobiological changes of puberty in a predetermined stepwise order. So if Mother Nature nature, we're consistently getting this crucial development process wrong. An analog of gender dysphoria would have been known in every culture throughout the history of time. And if there had been waves of puberty onset suicide, excuse my language, unaliving, this would be a universally known phenomenon. There would be abundant records and references to it in medicine and in literature. We as humans would have been at our wits' end to discover why puberty was so deadly for our children. And yet, that is not the truth. It has never happened. There is no increase in suicidality, and the gender affirming care model. Okay, if kids don't get the right pronouns or be called by their chosen name, you know what I mean? There's no correlation between that treatment and any negative outcomes, especially not suicide. This is the world's biggest lie. It is a social contagion of monumental proportions, and the way that this has been used to destroy children is absolutely unforgivable.
Well,
it is unforgivable. Puberty is the natural reset of all of these confused feelings that these kids have been fed.
And that's the thing. Puberty's the cure for their gender dysphoria.
And
we block the cure.
And yet you have trans husband by proxy mothers saying, my child is going to be forced to go through their natural puberty. Like every other kid in the history of the world, mama, just like that. Nothing bad's going to happen to your kid.
Better. Let them come out the other side. They'll feel better.
And 7 years old, Sheila. That makes me insane. Baby
they're
teeth
like,
and believes in Santa. You know what I mean? Like
this little girl this little girl likes sports. They must be trans. And this stuff makes me so mad. Not because I see my own, well, also because I see my own girls in it. But also because I see myself in it.
Yes.
Like if something goes wrong with my vehicle, what do? You saw me fix my own air conditioning one time.
I've actually never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like it. And yet this is where we're at.
Yeah, like
this is where we're at.
I'm outdoorsy. I'm sporty. I could live off the land.
Yeah.
I like to lift heavy things, just put them down for no reason. You know, I can shoot. I do all those things. I'm independent, and it's by necessity. I think part of it is because my dad died when I was really young, and I had to do things, and my mom had to work all the time, and then now my husband's gone all the time, and so things aren't going to get fixed if I don't fix them. Plus, I'm cheap. I don't like paying other people to fix things if I think I can do it myself. But I just think, what if I didn't have a normal family? Like, what if my mom was one of these people? What if I was born 30 years later?
If you had been influenced by a gender activist teacher or educator or educrat in your growing up years, there's a reason why we saw this, why we saw kids identifying as something other than their birth sex peak in 2021, because they unfurled this during the COVID. These are a bunch of profoundly broken children. We can't forget that these children all grew up in the COVID era. So you put your kids, remember when they told us the safest place for your children is online? Well, guess what they found online? They found trans influencers who gave them the language, who gave them the playbook, and then said, go tell your families that you're a different gender now. They gave them the entire script, and yet we wonder how that happened. It is time to roll the entire thing back.
I'm so glad you brought this up, because I just saw this morning and I couldn't figure out where I had seen it. But then, lo and behold, my laptop is obviously spying on me. Eric Kaufman on X. Trans identification is in free fall among the youth.
Oh,
it's almost like it was induced by something other than. It's like the social contagion wave is receding. It's like the satanic panic of
all of a sudden,
early 80s.
Sure, because we talk about it, because we haven't stopped talking about it here at Rebel News. The popularity of the social contagion is now falling off. It's not popular to identify as something other than your gender. There has been a chilling effect on the rapid onset gender dysphoria that we saw through the beginning part of COVID. And it is simply being rewound back into normal range. But if trans kids have always existed, then we would have the stats for that.
It
If
would
trans kids
it
have
wouldn't be
always
falling off like this.
No, it would
It's
not.
never been more accepting. Like, society has never
This
been
is
more
incredible.
tolerant of this stuff. And it is following the same drop off no matter where you examine it. And which means that there was some sort of social contagion, which we're coming out the other side. And regardless of the policies and support, the government is drafting around it. The wave, the tsunami that came into shore and destroyed everything is now receding back out into the ocean, thank God. But if you go through this, the number of students not identifying as male or female, just plummeting. And if you keep going, the data keeps going. Like this is a part of a thread.
This is so interesting, though, looking at the timing of this, because parents became aware that something weird and gender related was happening in schools at the early onset of COVID. And you can see this where a year or two later, after the children were being influenced by the radical gender activists in Canadian education, that number peaking at the top. This is several years after, because kids typically don't dive
Look
into
at
this with 2
2020.
feet.
Look at the spike at 2020 when the schools shut down.
Just wild. So then you add in all of the online influences, you add in like the peer pressure, because peer groups are very important to young people, like where they start to distance themselves from the influence of their families and start to really, really pay attention and put a great deal of value on what their friends are doing and saying. And you will see, it's all in the stats. And thank God, parents
were, oh God,
got involved, started talking to their kids, started telling their children, you can't be the other gender. That is
Look at
impossible.
this.
And got a little bit of a handle on this. But as long as we have radical gender activists in our schools, there will always be a baseline, because they have a steady stream of new, impressionable, vulnerable kids to indoctrinate.
Look at this. So if we go down to the second tweet in that thread, posts, pardon me, in that thread, it's pretty stable around, like if we follow the bottom line, 10% of the population non-heterosexual. I think that's standard, sort of 1 in 10, maybe bi, maybe lesbian, maybe gay. That's sort of what it is. It spikes all the way up to like 40% plus, which is crazy. And now we're headed back down south towards that 10% baseline.
These stats were reflected in a non-scientific, but just, do you have eyeballs? Can you see this happening in Saskatchewan schools? So where there is a radical gender activist teacher, and they are just infested in our education system, where you have a teacher that promotes this craziness in a classroom, 2 years later, you'll have 30 to 40% of that former classroom identifying as something else. So all it takes is one crazy teacher in a school to gender nonconform 30 to 40% of the student population.
Yeah.
That's abuse. That is abuse, is what that is. Those people, should be in jail. They should be in jail.
Here's where it gets interesting, because this is why I think it's directly tied to the pandemic and the social isolation of kids.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't change based on political belief. So it doesn't, this should, like, you would think that kids should be, like, as this drops, a change in their political values. But the kids polled here, their political values sort of straight lined. So it's not like, oh, we're becoming more religious or whatever. Not the kids that they're asking about this stuff. And it shows that mental illness now is plummeting. And then the change in their gender nonsense happens about a year after their mental illness starts to resolve itself, indicating that one is directly linked to the other.
Isn't that wild? So you have kids that were forced into isolation, had every sport taken away, had everything that they found joy from taken away and sent online. And then this is the predictable result. And yet And yet, the left has these experts who will swear up and down on a stack of holy Bibles that if these children aren't affirmed in their mental delusions, that they're going to do something rash. There's absolutely no scientific basis to that argument. And there has never been
Right.
a correlation between children unaliving themselves and not being affirmed in their gender delusions. There's never been a correlation. So all of the arguments in the piece that we showed at the beginning of this, absolutely debunked. Fake
Yep.
news. Absolutely
Yep.
fake news.
Yeah.
And yet they print it. Yet they print
Yep.
it.
Thank you, Efron, Olivia, for going on that ride with us. I know that wasn't on our
Yeah.
list of things to talk about, but I just saw this morning and it ties directly to this. So once their depression starts to resolve, it's almost like after their depression starts to resolve, they stop hating themselves and embrace their own body and their own, because I don't think the whole language of the left is that your gender is disconnected from your body, and I don't believe that.
There's no such thing. Yeah, there's no such thing.
I don't believe that.
Sex and gender are
It's
the
just
same.
sex.
They are the same. They are the
It's
same
just sex.
thing.
I'm not using that language. It's just sex. And for me, I see it through a slightly religious viewpoint because there is no disconnection between the body and the soul. Like it's this, you're together.
It is
You're
one.
You're
Yes.
knitted together. And the left wants to knit them apart, which is
unforgivable.
we can see the damage. What was the other thing that we wanted to talk about? I think did we get to mostly everything? We've got a lot of streaming later to do. God knows that it could be. I mean, it's a minority government right now in Newfoundland, and some of those writings from my research could be slightly close. Hang on. Do we want to go to Carney's hot mic maybe?
Yeah, that was a great one. It's a daily cringe.
Let's do the daily cringe. We'll do the chat. Then we'll do the daily Sheila just loves this video. Broadcast that at my funeral. Just put it up on the screen as one of my favorite things I saw in 2025. Okay, let's go to Carney's hot mic with Trump. And Trump doesn't take him seriously at all. Let's watch.
So you going back?
No, I'll go back. I'm glad you upgraded me to president.
Oh, did I say?
Great stuff. It's good. I started.
We said inside.
Great stuff. That was great.
That's so funny. So at some point, Trump had called him the president of Canada.
Right, doesn't even know his title. Like, doesn't Trump
couldn't care.
Cares so little about Mark Carney that he doesn't even care about the title. No, like so inconsequential. But then says, I could have called you governor.
Yeah,
And
at
then,
least
like,
I didn't
gives
call
him a
you
little-
governor, and gives him the like. Careful, he's
so
frail.
great.
He's osteoporotic.
Yeah, he's running off. He's running off to the
medic.
emergency treatment. Yeah, the emergency treatment tent.
Oh, he's gonna come back with his arm in a sling next week.
Wearing a diaper for being butthurt.
Yeah, because Trump hurt his arm. Okay, let's get to this one little chat. It's from Silverfeet, who's on day 11 of telling us horrible things the federal government is doing with our money in the way of DEI. Day 11. In the government of Canada, at least 33% of all managers on hiring boards must identify as diverse. Oh, God almighty. Visible minority, Indigenous, disabled, or 2SLGBTQAI+. They only hire incompetent people like themselves. Well, the sun can only shine on one, and all things being relative, you start hiring competent people, you're just going to look real bad. So I get it. It's a validation circle around there.
Isn't it wild? What was the stat on that, Sheila Gunn-Reid? Tell me the stat at the beginning.
1 in 3, 33%.
See, this has been my argument. If governments like the government of Saskatchewan, I might just put a fine point on, wanted to save 30 to 40% of its provincial spending, get rid of 30 to 40% of the dead weight in our public service, all they would have to do is divest from DEI. Just defund DEI. If you're working in DEI in our public service, right, You're gone. Bye. We're not funding this anymore. Whether you're a provincial employee, a municipal employee, or anybody that receives funding from the provincial government, the provincial government could make a heck of a lot of money. We're talking billions. We're talking billions and billions of dollars saved. And it's time that we all do this. Yeah,
Yes.
defund DEI. We know that it's not worked. It's a failed experiment. It is a socialist construct. And if you want to watch Canada accelerate, get rid of it all of it.
There's a video of Olivia Chow. And we should show it. It's at Mel Lastman Square, which I only know about because the student journalism conference a couple weeks ago was right near there. So I did some wandering through Mel Lastman Square. And so I know the exact location of where this atrocity was committed. And this is Olivia Chow.
Oh, Olivia. Here she's public Zumba. Look.
This is Diwali. Oh my God. Somebody come get your Grammy.
Auntie O is at it again. She's just
you know what?
dipping
This
She
is
went
me
to a
at
booth.
every family wedding, though. This is me on a wine tour.
This is Olivia Chow after a boozy brunch.
Yeah.
This is what you do after.
Bottomless
You just go and
brunch.
Can't you just see that being the truth, though? Oh, Olivia Chow, this is so embarrassing. And your city is such a disaster, and yet this is what you do.
Right. This
I
looks
mean-
like she's trying to fight off crackheads that are normally in Mel Lastman Square.
Yep. This is the meth head shuffle
The-
right
yeah,
here.
this is the eye rake.
Push him
This is
away.
the get away. Get
Yep.
out of my wallet.
Yeah, just like this.
Yeah.
Oh, Olivia.
Oh,
No.
Olivia.
Well, okay.
We've got another one from. We got. Oh, jeez, that's enough of her. Also, like, could you show up in something other than your gardening clothes or whatever you're wearing? They're like your
That's
little
boozy,
running clothes.
That's a boozy brunch
stretchy
wardrobe
pants
right there. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I get it. I get it. It's This is
Oh,
your stretchy
Olivia.
pants for your bottomless brunch. This one is from we want to welcome partial premium member Cryptomeria 666. So welcome. Enjoy your exclusive emojis. And then we've got Jody Peterson gives us $5. Incompetent people never hire competent people. Yeah. That's
It's true.
It is true. Now, if you are not following on your social media platform of choice, the Border Patrol of the United States, it's CBP. It is Customs and Border Patrol. You must, because I can't even believe the things they're posting. It's just so fun. So this is them. I think it's at the Rio Grande.
Like on the
And
Texas-Mexico border.
The Texas-Mexico border. And they're meeting the illegal migrants and then turning them around. And just the music selection is so fun. Whoever's doing your social media, Customs and Border Patrol, yes, bang on. I enjoyed this immensely. Let's listen.
It's time to hit the road goodbye. Farewell. So long. Vaya con Dios, good luck.
Good luck.
Wish you well. And it's time to hit the road.
You know,
yeah,
such a perfect song. You know, it's very Texas. We've got George Strait wishing them well. Vaya con Dios. Good luck.
They couldn't even scramble their way up the bank. The Border Patrol was like, and we're going to have you turn around and get back in your Mexican lane right here. Just straight back where you came from. So good.
The best part of that song is the Vaya con Dios. Good luck.
Yes.
It's in the language of the people.
Thank you for
Farewell.
visiting.
So long.
This is how you do
Vaya
it.
con Dios. Good luck. Wish you well. I love that. I must have watched that dozens of times.
And if
And
this was Canada, they would receive a welcome package from Canadian Border Services. They would get pointed to their brand new apartment that the government's paying for. They would have all of their health care covered. Like, it's too bad we don't have a river, you know?
right.
Yeah, between us and the
That
us and the
I just love it.
asylum
I just
seekers.
Could you imagine a Canadian government agency putting out something so fun about defending our borders? Never. If they tried
No.
that, everybody in the department would be fired before noon.
And as a matter of fact, Michelle Rempel Gardner,
Right.
she took a big swing at who was it again? Sheila
Lena
Gunn Reid.
Diab,
Oh,
something or
Lena,
other.
read the room, Lena. Michelle
maybe
Rempel
we could
Gardner
show
says, hold
that.
on. We have we have one of her tweets here that we can line up. So basically, the government of Canada is advertising Canadian
Ugh.
healthcare services to people who are considering coming to Canada. So, as a whole, the Canadian population has said, right, so immigration has negatively impacted our access to healthcare services in the country. Why are we advertising our healthcare to newcomers to the country? Why are we
Right.
doing this? And Michelle just wanders in there. Read the room, Lena. Like, listen, Lena, what are you doing? Red carpet for these newcomers. No
Yeah.
Canadians, you don't get healthcare. No Canadians, your grandma can die on a wait list, but new Canadians step right up. Single
Ugh.
file. Who can
Yeah.
we serve first?
Exactly.
Just wild.
Yeah. They're offering our grandparents MAID because they can't get hip surgery. But did you know Canada has public health? Get on over here. Get in our lineups. Make sure our Grammy and Grampies can't get life-saving or life altering surgery so that they choose the despair of medical assistance and dying because you're in our lineup. Thanks, Lena.
We're also prioritizing American families on the Rainbow Railway, where rainbow families and trans housing mummies can come to Canada and get free healthcare and free services and live for free for a year. Not joking.
Not here.
We're also paying for this. In the
Not
new
here.
country, Sheila Gunn Reid, I'm just thinking a moat might be in order. I used to say a privacy fence. Like, we got to build a privacy fence between the new country and Canada proper, but I'm thinking a moat. A moat might be necessary.
You just saw how much turning people away who are trying to swim a river brought me. So a moat would bring me immense happiness. I would love to just sit on the other side of the moat in a lawn chair and turn people away all day long. I would love
Sitting
that.
on the dock of the bay. Yep, that's what's gonna happen. A moat. Okay, a privacy moat.
I need a privacy moat. Could you imagine how happy I would be? Yeah, I would never work another day in my life. I would just be out there at the moat.
I know people that can build it.
Doing people away.
I know people who could build a moat. Easy. Like, just start tomorrow. Shovels in the ground. Golden shovels.
Moat.
Yeah.
The new country needs a moat. Okay. I think that's it. We'll sign off. Lise, we're going to be back here at 6 o'clock.
Sure are.
With all of our interesting Newfoundland facts.
I can't wait.
I'm thrilled. I'm already looking at haunted properties on the Rock, on Labrador, because I feel like that might be a little spooky. It's not desolate, but isolated there. And I learned my spookiest fact, because it is the spooky season, and you know how I love Halloween. I love to make things spookier if I can. Sleep paralysis. People in Newfoundland and Labrador have the most reported instances of sleep paralysis, which I would attribute to just a haunted place.
Well, a lot of their real estate is very, very old. Considerably older than what we have in Western Canada, where like the older structure in an area might be 25 years old or something. They have much more time to be haunted on the East Coast, and I feel like that goes well with their sort of Gaelic roots.
Yeah, the oldest, I'll give you this. The oldest building in Alberta is from 1861.
Yeah, ours is about the same.
Babies. We're just babies.
Yeah.
It's
but we love
church naturally, but yeah.
Like, We love getting to know like the outer reaches of Canada in our election coverage. So we just can't wait to like come back tonight and have a little therapy session, some fun facts thrown in. And we're great in the evening, Sheila Gunn Reid. This is where we shine.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're okay in the morning, but we're great in the evening.
I just want to know where all the refugees to the West are going to come from. I want to be able to have something to talk to you about when you swim up across the moat and you're pleading your case to me to let you in. I'm going to test you. I want to know where you're from.
Are you
I'm gonna have some
culturally
weird facts.
compatible? Yes.
I'm going to have some weird facts, and I'm going to quiz you to see if you'll fit in. So when you're, wading ashore, I'll be there in my lawn chair.
Yeah.
Waiting on you.
Yeah. There will be a test.
Yep.
And
For
you know
both
what?
of us.
I'm just gonna say it. I think the vast majority of Newfies who we're gonna try and lure to the West tonight, are going to be culturally compatible with
They are.
us. Yeah.
They belong. They belong.
They're cousins. They're our favorite cousins, the Newfies. Newfies
Like
and
I said,
Saskies and Albertans.
The largest city in Newfoundland, Fort Mac. Okay, I think that's the show. We'll see you back here at 6 o'clock. Lise and everybody who worked behind the scenes, all you guys who we put on the spot to bring up stuff that was out of order and not even on the list. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Can't do it without you. Those of you at home who pitch in a little bit to keep the lights on, but also inform us with your chats. We appreciate you very much. We know that you could choose somebody else, but you choose us. That means something to me. And to those of you who do the very affordable, but also invaluable thing of sharing our work and engaging with our work, you help us in ways that really I don't even understand. I mean, it's the algorithms, and I do my best to understand, but I also don't. But the more you engage with our work, the more they serve it up in front of other people, and that's the extent of my knowledge there. Thank you so much for doing that. Lise, see you back at 6. And as we've been saying on the show here, if you find us offensive, maybe don't find us at all. Big news, Rebel News now has premium memberships on X, Locals, and right here on YouTube. For just $4.99 a month on YouTube, you'll get loyalty badges, custom emojis, and access to members-only chats during our live streams. At $8.99 a month, you'll also unlock Rebel News Plus shows and our documentaries. But here's the catch. YouTube could cancel that premium tier at any time. That's why the best way to support us is at rebelnewsplus.com. It's just $8 a month, cheaper if you go annual, and you'll get exclusive extras like an ad-free site, comments access, and even the chance to submit op-eds. Wherever you join us, thanks for keeping our independent journalism alive and strong.